講座裏邊講咧，咁6年級嘅時候咧，佢就去出家啦，咁就加入咗創古寺啦。咁之後咧，佢亦都可以話後來咧，咁佢繼續喺寺院嘅生活啦，但係佢仍然係繼續喺 SMB 嘅學校度繼續讀書，讀到去高中畢業。咁佢係第一個咧係得到高中畢業嘅一個出家嘅真人啦。咁後來啦，佢亦都喺佛學院嗰度咧，2000年嘅時候完成咗佢嘅佛學院啦嘅學習啦。咁就畢業之後咧，就做咗仁波切嘅創古仁波切嘅侍者同埋嘅秘書。咁去到2008年咧，佢就係進入咗呢一個創古嘅閉關中心啦，實卡閉關中心。咁就係Thrangu Rinpoche 去做佢個閉關上師啦。咁佢完成咗嘅3年閉關。咁2011年咧，佢閉關出翻嚟之後咧，佢繼續去做翻創古仁波切嘅秘書同埋侍者啦。咁去到2015年咧，咁佢就係被任命為咧係要去負責管理南無布達啊同埋尼泊爾嘅嗰啲創古寺嘅嗰啲各種嘅計劃嘅一個主席啦。咁去到2018年咧，達瑪巴係喺美國嘅嗰度嘅美國個 KDD 嗰度咧，佢就係俾賜咗佢嘅名號，就係做呢個 Choje Lama。咁呢個一個好尊貴嘅名號啊，法尊上師嘅名號啦。咁另外喺2018年嘅10月31號，咁創古仁波切咧喺亦都係咧。即係要指派咗佢係作為創古仁波切佢自己嘅呢個新語義嘅代表。咁從此咧亦都係佢負得受一個好重嘅責任啦，就係要去負責晒管理翻所有創古寺嘅各種嘅寺院啊、佛法中心啊、學校啊，同埋所有嗰啲其他嗰啲醫療事業等等啦。咁呢個就係Choje Lama嘅一個簡介。
好，那接下来我们把手机关静音，好吗？所以不会有声音哦。然后我就请Choje Lama Wangchuk，我们让大家请起立，好吗？谢谢。大家可以坐。
OK， 得，頭先我yes， 冇錯，佢呢條路啱先騰翻出嚟 ，yes。
Baldim Choje Lama Rinpoche dagi chiwa pete de shungma kachin chimpa kunen jis kusong to ki mo to chandu so chaksa mo tam chichin chapa je so yaran kushin so yawa chungsen dagi chisa ba tam je zo be jang ju chenpo semche ma ki samba tam lo e chita chita che jun to mo de ba yin chu ki ko lo ko to so touch delegate everyone。
係各位吉祥兒
So as in the poster, so first we will talk a little about my observation of our very venerable Thrangu Rinpoche.
咁正如宣傳海報所講啦，咁首先 Choje Lama 會去講解分享一下佢對創古仁波切嘅一個觀察。
And I was told that there will be quite a few questions which will be asked. So the talk will not be going to be so long because I was asked to keep more time for question and answers.
咁因為之後咧會有問答環節嘅，咁所以咧個講座嘅時間唔會好長嘅，咁之後俾翻時間大家問答。
So first, talking about Rinpoche, from what I have observed, I think it is very limited observation from my point of view because me being a very normal monk, and Rinpoche, since he is like 92 now, and I was born only in 1983. I haven't been fortunate or lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Rinpoche, but still I was able to be his attendant and travel as his secretary for quite a while, and because of that I do have some little understanding, and this is only my perspective, so I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong then from right now I would like to apologize for anything that is wrong said by me.
咁所以Choje Lama要同大家分享佢喺仁波切身邊嘅一啲觀察啦。咁但係首先啦，Choje Lama就覺得自己只係一個平凡嘅出家人啦。咁佢對創古仁波切嘅嗰個觀察咧，其實都係一定係會從佢自己個人嘅一個睇法、感知嗰度去理解啦。咁特別仁波切而家佢已經係92歲高齡啦。咁但係Lama咧就係佢1983年出世，咁但係咧佢亦都好有幸啦，可以有長嘅時間咧係身為仁波切嘅侍者同秘書，咁可以咧就係同佢一齊好長嘅時間啦。咁所以可以話佢可以對仁波切係有少少嘅了解㗎。咁但係佢都講啦，頭先都係佢呢啲係佢個人嘅觀察、個人嘅一個叫做係感知啦，對仁波切嘅。咁所以如果有啲乜嘢咧係唔啱嘅或者錯咧，咁首先要同大家講聲抱歉。
And talking about Rinpoche, and as all of you already know that Rinpoche is the 9th reincarnation of Thrangu, and like in the hierarchy of Thrangu system, Rinpoche is not that on the highest level of hierarchy of Thrangu system.
咁首先咧，如果仁波切創古仁波切嘅身份咧，佢屬於喺創古寺嗰個轉世活佛啦，或者叫做或者轉世祖古個傳承系統裏邊咧，咁其實佢本身係就係佢屬於係創古祖古嘅一個身份。咁呢個喺創古寺嘅嗰個傳承嘅轉世祖古嘅嗰個體系裏邊咧，佢唔係最高嘅一個階，即係佢有唔同嘅祖古嘅，佢唔係最高階嘅嗰個，即係或者唔係最高最尊貴嗰位祖古。
Not only that, beside Buddhism and Tibetan, which he can only speak English, not so much, but he can communicate, but he never gives teaching in English, and he cannot speak in Mandarin or Cantonese or any other languages. So the basic or like the education that we perceive, the only thing he knows is like a little bit of English.
咁同埋咧，仁波切就係淨係識，即係當然佢佛法好了解啦。但係如果從語言上咧，佢淨係識藏文，淨係精通藏文嘅啫。佢英文可以溝通到，但係佢就從來都冇用英文去講經㗎。咁更加唔好講，佢就係一定佢唔識廣東話同埋呢個普通話啦。咁所以咧，從Lama 嘅觀察嚟講咧，仁波切就淨係識藏文，就係可能英文就係識少少咯。
And even with that limited communication skill, but still if you see the activities of our Rinpoche, it is not any lesser than any of other respected masters or great people that we see in this world. When we compare, obviously when we do something we don't compare, but still all of us being very general humans, we do compare. So when we see his activities and when we compare with other more respected teachers or any other ways, if we compare, it doesn't seem any less from what he has done till now with the limited vocabulary and without even knowing Mandarin, Cantonese and English. And when we see his activities, especially if you are able to travel in Nepal or India or even in Tibet, then it is very surprising for what he has done.
咁所以啦，仁波切對語言嗰個溝通能力其實就唔係咁強嘅，即係淨係識藏文啦，又唔識英文，唔識中文啦。但係咧，你睇到創古仁波切個事業咧，其實係如果你同其他大師、佛教界嘅大師，或者甚至係呢個世間嘅一啲大人物嘅比較嚟講咧，其實你睇得到佢嗰個事業咧並唔差於佢哋㗎，佢個事業亦都係好宏大㗎。咁因為我哋都係凡夫啦，我哋會將人同人去做比較啦。咁所以你咁樣睇嘅時候咧，睇到創古仁波切嘅事業咧係並唔差喎，一啲都比其他人。但係你睇到佢背後，其實佢可能佢個語言上佢唔識佢淨係識藏文啦，譬如運用語言上邊嘅，佢亦都冇辦法好用好多外語嘅詞彙啦。但係佢嗰個凡事業咧，譬如喺尼泊爾啊、喺西藏啊等等咧，係非常之宏大㗎。咁所以淨係咁睇到咧，就係會令好多人都覺得好驚訝㗎。
And if you have been there and if you have seen, then you will be amazed by what he has done till now. And obviously, when he came from Tibet, and after that he was in Tibet for a very long time, and he could only start to build his monasteries and schools only when he was like maybe mid-40s or late 40s like that, or maybe like early 50s. And if we see for now, then Rinpoche has built like almost 8 big monasteries in Nepal and India. And beside that, we also have like 2 schools. And we also have like few clinics where we provide free medical to all the people around. And even in the school, as of now, we have like almost 500 students to whom we provide free education, free accommodation, free food, and free clothes, and everything is provided free of cost. And it's of course there are lots of schools, but the school that Rinpoche has built was in 1987, and it's been almost 35 years, or maybe more than 35 years till now. And we already have so many students graduating from the school. And even now we have like 500 students studying at the school, and even me, I was a student at the school before becoming a monk. So that is also a very amazing project or activity of Rinpoche.
咁所以如果大家能夠親身去睇過仁波切嘅嗰啲佛事業啦，佢所做嘅嗰啲譬如建立嘅寺院或者係學校啦，你一定會感到驚訝嘅，因為咧其實咧仁波切過去咧，即係佢係從西藏出咗嚟印度尼泊爾啦。咁其實佢開始去做呢啲事業咧，其實係佢40-50歲嘅時候先開始㗎。咁但係佢40-50歲開始之後咧，佢已經到今日咧係已經建立咗有8間嘅大嘅寺院啦，尼泊爾同埋印度。另外有2間學校啦，同埋都有幾間診所咧係提供免費嘅醫療啦，俾所有人啦。咁其實其中一間學校咧有成500個學生㗎。咁其實咧佢所有學生都係免費喺嗰度住宿、學習、飲食同埋衣着，全部都係免費㗎。咁喇嘛自己亦都係當時喺嗰個學校度讀出嚟㗎。咁所以呢間學校咧1987年就成立啦，到而家都已經係35年歷史㗎啦。咁其實如果你咁睇嘅話咧，其實仁波切嘅所有呢啲咁嘅法人事業咧，其實係非常之宏大嘅。
And even now, like when we go to a college, or when we go to a university or at a school, when we see a monk or a nun going to this institution like school, college, university, people are very surprised to see a monk, especially in robes, whether monk or a nun. But Rinpoche, like more than 35 years back, he already understood the importance of basic education. So he started the school, and even at the school, all the young monks were asked to go to school, and Rinpoche provided everything so that they are able to not only learn Buddhism but also learn all different subjects. Like in Nepal, we have to learn the Pali, we have to learn English, maths, science, and everything. And because Rinpoche knew that these basic educations are going to be very important in our life. And if we are monk, definitely it's going to help. And sometimes, as most of you know, that some of the monks are not able to be monk their whole life. And if they leave the monastery, again, the education that they receive in the school is going to be of great help to them. And not only the monks, we also have so many kids from different parts of Nepal who are from very poor families studying in this school. Rinpoche is able to provide all of them with the best education that we are able to provide.
咁所以頭仁波切嗰個事業咧，其實係令人哋好驚訝嘅嗰個呢一個疏佛事業。咁但係譬如話，就算今時今日啦，你去啲大學啊或者普通正規學校裏邊咧，你都好少會見到有出家嘅真人或者尼眾㗎。如果你可能喺一間普通嘅學校裏邊咧，你見到啲出家人喺度，你會好驚訝嘅都會。咁仁波切其實就係可以話喺35年前咧，就已經建立咗間學校，就覺得咧，其實呢啲學校要係俾一啲基礎教育一啲出家人嘅，唔係淨係俾啲在家人嘅。佢就已經發現呢個重要性啦。咁所以當時咁早嘅時期咧，佢已經係為呢一啲出家眾咧提供一個基礎教育㗎啦。咁所以佢會認為咧，出家人咧唔單止係要學佛法，佢仲要學一啲基礎教育嘅科目，譬如話科學啊、數學啊等等呢啲啦。咁呢啲教育確實咧係對出家人重要。特別係有啲出家人咧，可能唔係一世都做出家人㗎，佢可能咧未來係可能會有啲唔同因緣會還俗。咁但係呢啲咁嘅接受嘅基礎教育咧，對佢將來即係將來嘅生命咧，都會仍然有好大嘅幫助㗎。咁所以呢個學校啦，亦都喺尼泊爾唔同地方都好多嘅啲幼童咧，都係嚟到入讀啦。咁佢哋亦都係可以得到咗係可以話喺佢環境裏邊最好嘅教育啦。
Even now, like we do know that we get very surprised when we see monks or nuns going to school or colleges. But back then, like in the 1980s, when Rinpoche first started the school, and he asked the monks to join the school, there were lots of difficulties, and so many people, even other masters from our own sect or other sect, they were not that happy when the monks were going to school receiving basic education, because as we all know that we have the mindset that when you are a monk, then you are only able or you should only study Buddhism text and not other text, or not learn any other activities like that. Even now, so many people have that kind of thinking, but Rinpoche, like all the way back in 1980s, he already was very developed and advanced, and the way he taught was very different from all the other masters, great masters we should say, and he encouraged all of us to study in school so that we can perfect our English skill, Nepali skill, and all the other skills that are needed in our modern world.
咁所以咧，其實正如頭先咁講啦，就算今日你見到有啲出家人喺啲正規學校裏邊，你都會覺得驚訝啦。咁所以唔好講話去到80年代嘅時候咧，其實當時咧，仁波切當時想去成立呢間學校咧，都遇到好多困難嘅，包括喺自己傳承入邊啦，或者其他傳承裏邊有啲可能係一啲長輩啦，或者一啲總之有啲人啦，都會覺得唔係咁應該去成立一個咁樣嘅學校㗎，因為佢哋會認為咧，出家人咧只係應該去學習佛法， 同埋佢哋亦都唔應該學其他學科啦，甚至亦都係除咗佛法嘅活動之外咧，唔應該做其他活動㗎。咁但係仁波切當時咧80年代已經有好大嘅一個遠見啦，同埋佢亦都係有呢個好廣大嘅心啦。佢帶住呢個咩遠見咧，就係好鼓勵啲出家人咧去學好其他呢啲基礎教育啦。咁因此特別就係佢哋又培養咗好嘅英文同埋尼泊爾文啦。咁最後亦都係對佢哋嘅工作咧係好大幫助嘅。
And not only the school, and also when he was building the monasteries, it was not just because he got a land or the land was sold for a very cheap price, so he thought of building the monastery. It wasn't like that. So when he was traveling or when he was going for pilgrimage to Namabuddha, back then we didn't have like good roads. Even now it's not that good road, but back then when Rinpoche first started building the monastery, it took like almost 8 to 9 hours to reach there, and the cars or the trucks there was not able to get there. You can only go till half, and then from half you have to hike for like 3 hours or more than 3 hours. But still, when Rinpoche in 1970s, when he first bought the land in Namabuddha, again there were lots of people who recommended or who advised Rinpoche not to build the monastery in Namabuddha because it wasn't that making sense to so many people, because it would be very difficult for people to come there, visit there. But still Rinpoche built the monastery in Namabuddha only because that is one of the most holiest place in Nepal, and that is the place where the Buddha himself in one of his previous life offered his body to the tigress and to the cubs, and we didn't had any monastery over there. Rinpoche thought that that is such a big shame to all the Buddhist community, where such a holy place, and when we don't have monks, we don't have a monastery. So only because of that he decided that there needs to be a monastery, and when nobody was going to build a monastery there, then Rinpoche took it upon himself and he built the monastery there. And now those who have been there will know that how difference it makes to have a monastery at a place like that. So even when he was building monasteries, it was only at the place where which was blessed by great masters.
咁除此之外啦，唔係淨係建學校啦，仁波切亦都係又會有建寺院啦。咁其實南無布達尼泊爾南無布達嗰個地方咧，唔係話因為咧嗰個地平啦，咁所以我有塊平嘅地書去建寺院，就唔係咁樣嘅因緣㗎。其實就係因為當時咧仁波切去到呢個地方朝聖啦，南無布達係一個聖地嚟㗎。咁其實佢就會覺得其實呢個地方佢有想喺呢個聖地建下間寺院，但係當時咧南無布達呢個地方咧好難去嘅，即係嗰啲山路好差㗎。其實到今日都係差，但係以前係更差，咁要成8-9個鐘先上到去啦。甚至嗰啲貨車嗰啲咧係去到一半路咧就要停咗喺度㗎啦，冇辦法㗎，咁就要再行多能3個鐘路先至上到去㗎，即係用人行啦。咁但係去到嗰陣時1970年開始咧，仁波切就已經開始想喺嗰度建寺啦。因為咧，但係當時佢想建嘅時候咧，亦都係同好多人就係覺得你唔應該咁做啊，因為喺嗰度起寺冇用嘅，冇人去啊，嗰個地方亦都咁困難啊，其實即係根本你冇可能成功嘅。咁但係呢個地方其實南無布達可以話係尼泊爾其實一個最神聖嘅一個即係最重要嘅佛教聖地啦。咁因為咧佛陀過去身啦，即係佢本身故事裏邊咧，佛陀就係過去身喺嗰度咧，就將佢嘅身體咧布施咗俾一個老虎媽媽啦，咁就係咁樣去救佢嘅命㗎。咁所以仁波切覺得咧，如果喺呢個咁重要嘅聖地裏邊咧，係冇一個寺院嘅話咧，確實係一個好羞恥嘅對呢個佛法嘅嚟講。咁亦都係嗰度地方係見唔到出家人啊，冇寺院係好可惜㗎。咁所以佢就係覺得如果冇人起咧，咁佢就係要發心去建起呢間寺院啦。咁所以今時今日，如果你有機會去過南無布達嘅話咧，你會見到嗰個改變係好大啦。即係嗰個整個地方，因為有呢個寺院嘅原因咧，其實南無布達呢個聖地咧變得非常之好啦。咁所以呢樣嘢咧，亦都係OK， 差唔多先，我驚嗰度 miss 咗。
And talking about Namabuddha, so when he built the monastery there, he started a college, and like all of you, I guess most of you know, Suri Rinpoche, he also studied there. Kimbudawa also studied there. When the roads were not so good, they had to like drive for like 2 hours, and then again they had to walk for like 3 hours only to get to the monastery back then. But now it's so much easier for us now. The younger monks like me and even the monks who are younger than me, we have all been very fortunate to not be able to face so much difficulties. But back then, Rinpoche built a monastery over there, and we didn't have such a big plan to have such a big monastery. But now, because of Rinpoche's activities, we have more and more monks in the monastery. So in the monastery now it's quite huge, and we also have lots of monastery, and it is flourishing also quite well.
咁頭先漏咗就係寧波車其他嘅寺院咧起嘅地方咧，都係揀一啲有佛陀有關或者係有具加持嘅聖地嘅。咁樣另外啦，所以而家今時今日咧，其實瑞寧波車同埋金毛達娃其實佢都係喺南無布達嗰度讀書啦。咁其實過去佢哋咧至少要搭車4個鐘啦，之後可能要再行3個鐘先上到寺院㗎。咁所以過去咧其實係非常之困難嘅嗰個地方嘅環境啊，或者佢哋嘅生活。咁但係因為而家一路去改善啦，咁所以而家可能新嚟嗰啲出家人咧見到嗰個情況就係今日而家好大嘅個寺院已經係變得好好啦，成個設施所有嘢越嚟越好啦。咁其實寧波車除咗南無布達呢個地方之外咧，其實佢喺其他地方嘅見到嘅一路都有見唔同嘅寺院啦，令到呢個佛行事業咧係越嚟越去廣大㗎。
And when we had the monastery there, since like I said already before, it was very difficult to get there, and there was possibility of the monks getting sick in Namabuddha. So Rinpoche thought that we should have a small clinic in Namabuddha. But then when we had the clinic, as there weren't any clinics or hospitals nearby, we had to take care of so many patients who are not monks from our monastery, like the local villagers, and they used to come to the monastery so that they can have some treatments. And there weren't any medical post or clinic nearby. So there were hundreds of people coming to the monastery for treatment. And then later Rinpoche thought that the clinic is not only useful for the monks but also for the whole local community. So we, instead of like a small clinic, now we have a decent medical facility over there. And even over there we give like free medication, free doctors, free like laboratories for all the villagers nearby, so that they can also take advantage of the medical clinic. So that is also very useful for all the local communities.
咁過去咧，頭先都有講啦，寺院嘅環境係好困難㗎啦。嗰個地方咧，其實就算出家人病咗咧，周圍都冇得睇醫生嘅，即係因為冇任何啲醫療設施啦。咁所以當時亦都係因為咁嘅緣故咧，就要成立一個診所啦。咁但係因為其實就算當地嘅人啊、啲村民啊，其實佢哋有病咧，佢都冇辦法揾地方睇，佢哋附近真係冇任何醫療機構嘅。咁所以其實因為寺院有呢一個診所嘅時候咧，咁就好多當地嗰啲村民啦，其實都會嚟到去求診。咁所以因此咧，其實當時有成可能過百位嘅嗰啲村民咧，都會嚟求診啦。咁因為呢個緣故咧，咁寧波車就確定就話，其實呢一個咁嘅診所唔係淨係利益到嗰啲出家人嘅，其實當地人咧都好需要。咁佢決定就係要建立一個即係診所啦，係亦都係免費㗎啦。咁就俾當地人咧，亦都有一個比較好嘅醫療嘅一個設施啦，亦都係全部係免費嘅。咁所以因此咧，到時今時今日咧，其實當呢個診所啦已經發展到即係有各種嘅醫療設備啦，同埋有各種嘅醫療服務啦，同埋都有化驗所等等，咁亦都係對當地嘅人，除咗出家人之外啦，對當地嘅人都好大嘅利益啦。
And those who have been practicing Buddhism for quite a while, then you will know that when we practice, we need to have the three main things: is Papa, Samba, Homba, listening, contemplating, and meditating. So when we build an institution, it is very advisable to have these three. So Rinpoche also started college, Buddhist college, and of course before we had that in Namabuddha, but again when he was going for pilgrimage in Varanasi, and Rinpoche believes that that is the most holiest place, because that is the place where the Buddha first gave Buddhist teaching to his 5 followers. And some people believe that Bodh Gaya is the most holiest place. Some believe that Kushinagar is the, but Rinpoche believes that Varanasi or Sarnath is the holiest place because from that is the place where Buddha first gave the teaching and where Buddhism was born. And when he was there again over there weren't that many monasteries over there. And the main reason was because it gets very hot in Varanasi. Like when you are there during the summer, it gets like 48, 49 degrees. And the electricity is also not so stable like in other countries. Like even when you travel, some countries they do have like especially in the Middle East, maybe they have more than 50, but their country is quite developed. They can have the ACs, they can have the fans. But back in Varanasi, the electricity is extremely bad even now. There is no electricity, so you cannot use the fan, you cannot use the ACs. And because of that, not many temples were built over there. And again, Rinpoche decided we do need to have a monastery at such a holy place. And he built the monastery over there. And now our Buddhist college is running over there. And at the present, we are having the annual nuns debate program where now we have like almost 400 nuns from different Buddhist college participating in debate competition. And that monastery is also doing very well.
咁大家都知道啦，如果特別係學習佛法學咗一段時間嘅人咧，都知道佛法最重要嘅就係聞思修呢三樣嘢啦。咁所以因此咧，仁波切都係有建立咗呢個佛學院啦。咁其實當仁波切當時喺印度朝聖嘅時候咧，經過呢個瓦拉納士啦。即係話喺呢個地方咧，咁其實瓦拉納士呢個地方咧就係一個佛陀初轉法輪第一次去向呢個5位弟子啦去傳授佛法嘅呢個地方啦。咁喺仁波切覺得咧呢個地方係一個最神聖嘅一個聖地，如果佛教聖地嚟講，咁可能有啲人會覺得菩提迦耶最神聖，有啲人覺得Kusinagar 最神聖，但係仁波切覺得瓦拉納士鹿野苑呢個地方咧係最神聖嘅地方。但係當時呢個地方亦都係冇乜寺院㗎。咁點解冇乜寺院咧？咪就係呢個地方咧係好熱嘅夏天嘅時候，即係48、49度。但係最慘咧就係嗰度啲電唔穩定啦，成日都唔會有冷氣啊，就算有冷氣都開唔到啦，或者電風扇都開唔到啦。因為譬如其他國家好似中東咁，可能50度，但係佢係發展得好嘅國家啦，佢啲電力充足，咁就可以有冷氣。但係呢個地方咧就唔係啊，隨時都會冇電嘅。咁所以咧用唔到風，用唔到風扇，用唔到冷氣啦。咁所以咧係唔容易嘅，主要因為冇乜寺院喺嗰度建立。但係仁波切咧就喺呢個聖地嗰度啦，就建立咗間佛學院啦。咁今時今日咧，其實啱啱而家咧就係尼眾嘅一個辯經法會喺嗰度舉行啦，有400位尼眾喺嗰度係做辯經法會啦。另外亦都其實係嗰度咧個佛學院咧亦都係一路喺度運作緊㗎。咁而家嘅狀況就咁啦，係變成一個好好嘅一個學習嘅地方。
And beside the monasteries and school, like we all know, to understand Buddhism, we need to learn Buddhism. We learn from text mostly. Rinpoche gave extreme importance to publishing the books also. Because of that, we have like few publications where we print out Tibetan texts in Nepal and in India, where we try to publish as much books as possible. But since we also have so many students from abroad, from China, wherever, and we thought that only having Tibetan books are not going to be sufficient. So we do need to have translated books, and that is why Rinpoche asked Kimpo Dawa, Sonam, and all the other monks and nuns involved with the Dhammakara now to start a publication here in Hong Kong, so that we can translate not only Rinpoche's books but also books from different teachers, so that you will be able to read and understand directly instead of having a translator or whatever. So I think even this is like one of the main activity of our Rinpoche.
咁因為要去學習佛法嘅話咧，我哋就係一定要有呢一個法本啦，或者係有呢個書籍啦。咁所以仁波切係好重視呢一個出版嘅， 即係呢個書籍嘅流通啦。咁所以因此咧，仁波切其實佢咧喺印度尼泊爾嗰度咧係出版咗好多，即係整理同埋出版咗好多呢一個佛法嘅書籍啦。咁其實就係除咗之外咧，因為仁波切好多弟子咧，其實都係即係海外嘅人啦。咁所以包括可能香港啊、中國啊等等啦。咁所以因此唔係淨係有出藏文嘅書啦，譬如佢亦都有好多要去翻譯一啲，將啲書翻譯做中文啦，或者翻譯做其他語言啦嚟出版。咁所以因此都係咁嘅緣故咧，譬如Cambodia啦、蘇南佢哋喺香港咧就要成立呢一個藏寶文化嘅呢一個機構，就係要希望將呢一啲咁嘅教法咧係能夠翻譯成為唔同嘅語言啦，唔係淨係創古仁波切嘅教法啦，其他大德嘅一啲教法咧都要翻譯出嚟。咁呢個其實都係仁波切其中一個嘅事業。
And beside these activities, and one of the main other activities of Rinpoche is his teachings. Since we are all students of Kamakaki lineage, and if we check all the oral transmissions, all the empowerment, all the teachings that we receive from different Kaki masters, we have our lineage holder, the Karmapa, and then we also have the heart sons, Shamar Rinpoche, Siddha Rinpoche, Gyatso Rinpoche, and Jamgon Rinpoche. And all these great masters were taught by Rinpoche himself. The four heart sons were taught by Rinpoche when Rinpoche was in Rumtek. And these four heart sons are like the four main pillars of spreading the Kamakaki tradition, but they all received this teaching from Rinpoche himself. And even now, our lineage holder, the 17th Gyalwang Karmapa, whom we pay immense respect, was also a student of our very venerable Thrangu. And these were all because of the knowledge and because of the wisdom that Rinpoche has in Buddhism and the compassion that he is able to show to his students. And only because of that, he was appointed as the teacher for these great masters. And only because of his understanding of Buddhism and his compassion, he was able to build so many monasteries, so many education institutions, so many medical clinics. And I think by looking at these activities, we will be able to know that what Rinpoche did in this lifetime is unimaginable for someone like us to do.
咁除此之外啦，咁仲有一個好重要嘅仁波切嘅法人事業咧，就係去講經啦，去傳授教法啦。咁特別係啦，喺加瑪家珠嘅呢個傳承裏邊啦，咁其實咧所有嘅口傳啊，或者所有嘅教法咧，都係要一路咁樣傳承落去㗎。咁家珠嘅傳承嘅持有者啦，咁其實好似夏瑪巴、大師盧仁波切、長覺仁波切同埋加差仁波切，呢個可以話係家珠派嘅4位心子啦，除咗大寶法王之外。大寶法王嘅4位心子應該咁講，咁其實咧創古仁波切都係呢4位心子嘅親教師嚟㗎。咁其實當年咧，亦都係指派咗創古仁波切去教呢4位心子啦，所有嘅呢一個傳承嘅教法啊，所有嘅經典啦等等啦。咁雖然呢啲傳承嘅心子咧，過去當然佢係傳承持有者啦，但係佢都係要再學習翻呢個傳承嘅教法。咁所以當時係指派咗創古仁波切去做佢哋嘅親教師啦。咁除此之外啦，17世嘅噶瑪巴咧，亦都係對創古仁波切好尊敬，因為其實17世噶瑪巴亦都係從創古仁波切嗰度接受咗好多傳承嘅教法㗎。咁之所以創古仁波切能夠去做到呢一個任務啦，就係因為佢本身對呢個佛法嘅嗰個智慧係圓滿啦。另外佢亦都係對佢嘅弟子係好有呢個悲心咁嘅緣故，所以佢係可以被去任命為啦去教導呢啲傳承。包括法王同埋心子嘅呢一個導師啦，咁所以完全都係因為佢對佛教嗰個即係佛法裏邊嗰個智慧係呢個圓滿啦，同埋佢亦都係充滿呢個悲心嘅緣故。咁所以就係話你從咁嘅角度睇到啦，創古仁波切今生裏邊建立咗咁多寺院，亦都係建立咗咁多嗰啲其他嘅可能醫療事業啦，同埋佢嘅學識。去學養，咁你可以睇到其實今生創古仁波切嗰個法人事業咧，係對我哋啲凡夫睇落嚟咧，其實係不可思議嘅，即係好難係想像一個凡人可以做到其中嘅一部分。
And not only these institutions, but also Rinpoche has built so many Dharma centers in different countries, like even here in Hong Kong, there's Taiwan, Malaysia, Canada, almost in many different countries. And all these centers are trying to spread the teaching of the Dharma as much as they can. And now I have been appointed as the representative of Rinpoche to look after all these different institutions, these Dharma centers, the school, the monasteries, and everything. And for someone like me, who is not that learned, not that educated, not that wisdom as Rinpoche, it is a very big and huge challenge. But till now, it has been quite okay. And I hope because of the love and support from all of you, especially from our Hong Kong Center and everything, everything will turn out well. And I would like to wish all of you to keep giving us the love and support.
咁所以唔單止係頭先講嗰啲佛人事業啦，另外寧波車亦都係喺香港、馬來西亞、加拿大等地咧都好多弘法中心，將呢個佛法弘揚去到世界各地㗎。咁Choje Lama咧其實係被指派為啦，代表咗寧波車嘅新寓意，就係去叫管理或者係去係啦管理或者係去睇住晒而家創古仁波車嘅所有喺世界各地嘅佛人事業啦。咁當然啦，Lama就話覺得自己佢冇寧波車咁樣嘅一個教育啊，冇佢咁嘅智慧啊，冇佢咁嘅程度能力。咁但係佢仍然都係輸對佢嚟講呢一個責任咧係一個好大嘅挑戰啊。但係到今時今日咧，佢都叫做可以能夠勝任啦。就係其實全部都係在乎於都係全靠有賴於係大家各位對佢嘅一個愛護同支持啦。咁所以亦都特別係香港嘅中心或者香港嘅法友對 Lama 嘅支持，咁所以因此希望大家咧繼續去關愛同埋繼續去支持佢嘅呢個嘅責任啦。
Yeah, and then we will do the question and answer.
咁而家就係問答時間。Lama, I will ask the first question.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you already told us that you are the longest time attendant for Thrangu Rinpoche, and can you share with us how you become Rinpoche's attendant and some of the unforgettable memory in your life with Thrangu Rinpoche?
I am not the longest serving attendant for Rinpoche, so we have like few other monks who have been serving Rinpoche even now, and they have been serving way longer than me. But I was fortunate enough to serve Rinpoche for almost like maybe 15 years as his attendant and as his secretary, because like all of you already know that I was Rinpoche's attendant and secretary from like 2004 till 2015. And back then we don't have so many apps like now. We don't have smartphones, and everything has to be done through emails. And I was helping as a secretary, writing, reading, and all these emails, letters, writing handwritten letters and everything. So I was not only as his attendant but also like his secretary. And after finishing my school and then after joining Buddhist college, and when I was done with the Buddhist college, then Rinpoche thought that since I had some education on Tibetan Buddhism, and not only that, since I had already graduated from the school, and since I can read and write emails for him, so I was appointed as Rinpoche's attendant and secretary.
咁個問題就係話，Lama 就係其中一個最長時間嘅侍者啦，寧波車。咁我哋想請 Lama 就係分享下佢點樣係成為咗寧波車嘅侍者啦，同埋佢同寧波車嘅相處咧，有咩最深刻嘅一個經歷啦，或者嘅經歷啦。咁Choje Lama嘅答案就係話咧，佢唔係最長時間係做寧波車侍者嘅一個人啦，但係佢因為仲有其他嘅出家人咧係比佢更長嘅時間做寧波車嘅侍者。咁佢身為寧波車嘅侍者咧，就係大概係15年嘅時間啦。咁佢除咗身為寧波車嘅侍者 者亦都係仁波切嘅秘書嘅。時間大概就係2004至2015年啦。咁當時咧，其實咧佢做仁波切侍者嘅時候咧，其實因為當時係冇話咁多手提電話嘅智能電話啊，冇話咩咁多嗰啲 Apps 嘅。咁當時嘅溝通都係要靠可能寫書信啦，或者係寫電郵㗎。咁當時所以因此佢唔單止做侍者嘅嘢啦，佢亦都要去做好多書信來往聯絡嘅。咁因此去做秘書嘅職責就係呢個啦。咁當時佢啱啱就喺嗰個高等學校度，唔係基礎學校度畢業之後咧，亦都係讀緊佛學院嘅時候咧，因為當時Lama 佢對呢個有一個即係比較好嘅教育啦，咁佢又對藏傳佛法有認識，咁佢語言能力又好，咁所以因此咧，仁波切就請佢做安排佢做佢嘅侍者啦。
And there were lots of very magnificent or amazing times. And like if you see, what I have learned from being with Rinpoche is Rinpoche was able to give so much time to his students. And especially when he was traveling, we used to have people wanting to see him. Like very late, even when he was here in Hong Kong, we used to have students coming to see Rinpoche around 11 p.m., midnight, and sometimes even after midnight. And Rinpoche always used to wake up around 3:30 or 4 in the morning. He used to do his practice on his own, and then we, the attendants, can only go to help or serve like only around. We didn't need to wake up before him, so we can only start like around 5:30, 6:30 like that. But he didn't. He never told us to come before his waking up from his sleep. And even like late at night, he never told his students not to come so late. But we had to always request him not to do that. It is not going to be so healthy for him. And he was already like in his 80s when these were happening, when I was his attendant. And not only that, the compassion and love that he showed to us, the attendants, was also very different from what I have seen from other teachers, I guess. Like the latest example, when we were traveling in Indonesia, I think that was 2017 or maybe 17, I guess. All of us, I think some of the students from Hong Kong also joined. And then we were only supposed to go to Jambi, the place where the Lojong teaching was first given. And what happened was, a few of us, the monks, we have never been to Borobudur, the place. We wanted to go there, but Rinpoche has already been there. But if we were going there, then we had to go on our own, because it was not in the itinerary, but because of the love that Rinpoche has to me and other attendants and students, because he knew that we wanted to go there. And all of a sudden, Rinpoche said to the organizing committee, "Oh, I want to go to Borobudur to see." And actually, it was not because he wanted to go there, it was only because so that we can go there and see and take the blessing from Borobudur. So like this is only one example, but we had so many of like these incidents. Sometimes he knew that when we go to a new country, then we might want to see some of the like famous landmarks. And if we wanted to go, then definitely it is quite difficult for the students to take the attendance somewhere. But when Rinpoche wants to go, all the students, they are very happily, willingly wanting to take Rinpoche. But when it's only the attendance, then it is quite difficult most of the time. But because of that, Rinpoche, when he knew that, so whenever we go to a new place, even though he had already visited, even though he didn't want to go, but only because if he goes, then we can also be joining him. So that was the only reason he always said that, "Oh, I wanted to go here, I wanted to go there." These are all because of his love and compassion towards me and other attendants of Rinpoche.
咁另一樣仁波切即係 其實當然喇嘛就係話有好多好難忘嘅事情嘅，同仁波切喺身邊嗰度，或者有啲令佢亦都覺得好驚訝，即係好讚歎嘅一啲睇經驗嘅。但係其中一點咧，就係關於仁波切係會擺好多時間喺佢啲弟子度嘅，即係可以話不辭勞苦咁樣去，都係會去見弟子啦。有時有啲弟子可能夜晚11點，甚至係12點，或者過咗12點凌晨之後，都去拜見仁波切咧，都會係仁波切會接見㗎。但係仁波切咧自己咧，其實佢每日咧就係3點半凌晨啦，上晝或者4點咧，佢就會起身做佢嘅日課㗎啦。即係咁，但係咧佢自己咧就會係自己起身嘅，佢唔會打攪佢啲侍者嘅。咁所以好多時候佢啲侍者咧都可能5點半、6點半先起身嘅上晝。咁但係佢就自己做咗，咁佢就唔會即係咁唔會去打擾啲侍者㗎。咁但係有時咧，其實因為仁波切都年紀大啦，咁可能啲佢哋都會叫可能啲弟子可能夜晚啊8、9點都唔好再嚟打擾。咁但係仁波切都係會仍然都好歡喜去，就算佢都80歲啦到咗，但係佢都仍然會就係會俾時間去見佢嘅弟子㗎。咁除此之外咧就係喇嘛亦都Choje喇嘛嘅分享就係話，仁波切亦都好痛錫佢嗰啲侍者㗎。咁點解會咁咧？就係佢亦都喺呢一點咧，係喺第二啲嘅大德度見唔到嘅，即係特別係仁波切就係對佢哋嘅侍者嘅嗰個關愛咧，係特別係有好特別特殊，即係好特別係特別嘅。咁其中一個例子就係最近喺印尼，佢2017年咧就係佢哋印尼朝聖啦，就去阿底峽尊者接受秋三七要嗰個教法嗰個叫做針比嘅呢個地方啦。咁其實嗰度咧，佢本來淨係計劃呢度朝聖嘅啫，但係就係因為咧其中有啲侍者啦，咁就係冇去過婆羅浮屠，嗰度係另一個島嚟嘅。即係另一度嚟嘅，咁但係咧，所以因此咧，其實好多佢哋會想去啦，或者其實可能有啲弟子去呢個朝聖團啲弟子都會想去。咁其實因為呢個緣故咧，其實因為仁波切自己就去過婆羅浮屠啦，但係因為仁波切係想覺得佢啲侍者或同埋呢啲弟子都應該希望佢哋能夠得到去到婆羅浮屠度朝聖接受加持咧，咁仁波切突然就改行程，就覺得話要加去呢個婆羅浮屠，所以因此其實佢自己唔係佢自己想去，就因為其他人想去，希望佢哋都能夠獲益，咁所以佢就會係去咁樣作呢個安排啦。咁都係出於佢對呢個侍者同弟子嘅愛啦。咁其實就算係有時去到一啲國家度去啲新嘅國家度去弘法嘅時候咧，咁同樣啦，啲侍者都會好想去到啲新未去過嘅國家度嗰啲名勝古蹟度睇噶嘛。咁但係如果淨係啲侍者想去嘅，咁其實咧好多嗰度嗰啲接待嗰啲功德主啊，或者嗰啲人咧，佢未必係會肯淨係帶啲侍者去㗎。咁所以咧，但係仁波切其實去嗰啲國家，佢係已經去過啲地方睇，或者佢甚至都冇興趣，唔會想去。但係因為佢知道其實佢嗰啲侍者會想去，咁嘅緣故咧，仁波切都會話佢都想去，佢就會想去呢啲名勝古蹟嗰度去參訪啦。其實目的就係想係令到啲侍者咧都能夠滿足到佢哋願望啦。咁所以呢啲就係表達到仁波切對佢侍者嗰個慈悲關愛。Okay, yeah. So this is answer for the first question. Okay. 好咁在座有冇師兄有問題？係做嘅，你怎麼講？我大聲啲要，聽佢哋聽到。The question is, we knew that Thrangu Rinpoche is really master of the teaching for the Sujana and Vajrayana, and he also taught like the Heart Sutra in Hong Kong before, and so she interested in the how important about the reading for the books in the Rinpoche's life, or can you share about just like this how important or what is Rinpoche's reading life in his daily routine?
Rinpoche takes extreme importance in reading books, and even now whenever we go to see Rinpoche, like all of you, when you go to see Rinpoche, you have to make appointments and see Rinpoche, so it's a little different. But when we go, it's because like I used to be his attendant, and now I'm taking care of the institutions. So normally I don't make any appointments, so I can just go to see Rinpoche without any appointments. And whenever I go to see Rinpoche, I can always see Rinpoche reading all the time. And it Doesn't matter whether I go in the morning or go in the afternoon or in the evening. So every time, even now when I go to see Rinpoche, so but normally when you go to see someone, when you make an appointment, then people can imitate someone, or they can be someone that they want to show you how you perceive them. But when you go to a person and without any prior information, and when you see him, that is like the real image, I guess. So even like me, when people come to see me, I try to be different from what I really am. So I try to maybe behave better or maybe look better or whatever. But when I go to Rinpoche, it is not like that. So I can just go, and all this time, whether I go in the morning, afternoon, evening, every time I go, I can always see Rinpoche reading. And even now he is 92, and his eyes also not that sharp, but still I can always see. And not only me, if you ask any of the other senior lamas or people close with Rinpoche, they will all say the same thing. If you ask what Rinpoche was doing when you went to see him, they will all say that he was reading. And even when we were traveling, like not here, but like when we traveled to India or in Nepal or Tibet, like that. So as soon as we got there, then what Rinpoche asked us to do was always to find out the libraries in that area, Tibetan libraries, because like I said, Rinpoche only reads Tibetan. And then we had to provide him with all the list of the books that were available in the library. So we used to give it to them, and then Rinpoche used to take all the books that he thought or he wanted to read. And most of the time it was more than the half of the books or the half of the list of the books that we give him. So he will ask us to buy, and we will buy those books and then bring it, and wherever we go, Rinpoche used to take the books, and he always used to study. And Rinpoche, even during his teaching, he used to say that books are like the best friend of ours, because or even the best teachers of ours, because sometimes when we are dealing with our teachers or friends, if we ask the same question 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, then the teacher or friends gets annoyed and they don't want to reply, or they will not reply. And when we are receiving teaching or talking with friends, all of a sudden, if you don't want to read, if you don't want to talk, if you just want to lie down, or if you want to eat, if you say that, then again the friend or the teacher might get annoyed. But books are not like that. Whenever you have the book, so whenever you have the mood, you study for half hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever you want. Then if you are feeling hungry, you can just close the book, go to eat. If you want to sleep, you can just sleep. The book is never going to get angry with you, never look at you in a different way. So you can always study whenever you want. You can just open, I can study 3 times, 4 times, and the book is never going to complain with you. So Rinpoche gave immense importance in reading books. So that is why we have the publications in Namabuddha, in Varanasi, and even here in Hong Kong, not only in Tibetan, but also in English, Chinese, and all many different books, so that all of you can study also. So I think it is very important to be able to study or read these books that have been translated by the immense diligence of all these translators who have helped in translating these books and the publication and publishing these books.
咁仁波切係非常之係極之重要嘅。仁波切覺得讀書係極之重要嘅，因為咧，譬如話普通人咧去見仁波切咧就要預約啦。咁但係咧，譬如好似喇嘛咁啦，佢係身為仁波切之前佢係侍者啊，同埋佢有嘅寺院入邊嘅職位咧，咁其實佢係隨時都可以去見仁波切㗎。咁所以咧，其實佢每次見到仁波切嘅時候咧，其實佢都喺度睇緊書㗎。咁無論係上晝、下晝、夜晚，任何時間見到佢咧，佢都係見到佢讀緊書㗎，睇緊書㗎。咁因為就係點解咁講咧？就係、是、一般人譬如話去約咗一個人都好啦，如果你要約嗰個人咧，可能見到幾時我要見某個人啊，可能佢會特登扮一扮 即係執一執啊，或者係做一啲佢可能想佢見嗰個人見到佢做嘅嘢啦。咁就呢個譬如就算阿喇嘛自己都係嘅，可能佢就會嚟緊有人要去見佢啦，有人要揾佢啊拜見佢咧，可能佢都會特別係要令自己打扮得好啲啊，或者係佢自己係要執一執咁樣啦，等人哋有個好嘅觀感啦。但係硬係阿喇嘛嘅或者係佢寺院入邊出家人咧，佢見到仁波切嘅時候咧，其實仁波切就係當然佢而家隻眼唔係咁好啦，因為佢已經92歲啦。但係其實佢每次見到仁波切嘅時候咧，佢都係睇緊書㗎。咁呢個亦都唔需要假裝啦，對住佢哋。咁所以你可以問，除咗阿喇嘛都好啊，或者係其他任何一啲年紀大啲嘅喺寺院耐啲嘅喇嘛，或者係仁波切身邊嘅喇嘛都好啊。其實佢就係話佢哋個個都會答你，就係仁波切咧，成日都就喺度睇書㗎啦。咁無論佢譬如話去尼泊爾、印度啊，或者西藏嘅地方去參訪嘅時候咧，其實去到每個地方佢都會問咧，呢度有冇啲藏文嘅圖書館？如果有咧，就要攞佢嗰個書單出嚟。咁佢就會派佢哋咧，就去到嗰度就揾到嗰啲書啦。可能有時喺書單上面咧，好多時都有一半嘅書咧，佢都會攞咗翻嚟，或者可以買到翻嚟。咁繼續喺個旅程嗰度要去睇㗎。咁書咧，仁波切都同佢哋講咧，其實就係書咧，可以話係一個佢哋嘅最好嘅朋友或者最好嘅老師。點解咁講咧？就係因為咧。譬如話，我哋無論你問幾多問題啊，要煩佢幾多次都好啊，即係呢個你對住你問呢個書咧，佢唔會有任何嘅發脾氣。但係如果你譬如話你問一個老師或者問一個朋友啊，如果譬如話你成日問佢問題嘅時候，可能佢會覺得你煩啦。又或者如果你同呢個朋友或者老師，可能佢教緊你嘢嘅時候，突然之間你話你想唞一唞，或者你想食啲嘢，咁又唔得嘅，可能佢覺得我同佢講緊嘢，你做乜話唔聽啊？或者你想去即係食嘢啊？但係咧，如果你譬如話係咯，如果可能你聽緊一個人講嘢嘅時候，可能聽咗耐咗你攰，但係如果你話要停咧就唔得啦。但係如果你一本書就唔會啦，你可能可以睇佢一陣，又停一停食啲嘢，甚至你睇下攰瞓覺，咁本書都唔會發你脾氣，唔會唔中意啊。所以你係可以一日裏邊啦睇幾次本書之後又擺翻低。咁所以因此咧，書嚟講咧，仁波切就會覺得係一個就係最好嘅一個朋友同老師啦。咁所以因此仁波切係好重視呢個讀書㗎。咁所以因此咧，或者係書本㗎。咁所以喺尼泊爾南無布達啦、印度灣啦，同埋香港咧都有呢個唔同嘅出版社啦。另外就係佢喺香港就會出咗譬如話英文啊、中文嘅書，有好多各種各樣嘅書係俾大家去學習啦。咁所以Choje Lama我覺得就係大家都要好重視去睇呢啲書，因為呢啲書咧亦都係啲譯者花咗好大嘅時間去翻譯出嚟㗎。咁所以因此咧，如果大家去好好去閱讀呢啲書籍咧，係會好大利益㗎。
And even the great master, the Gambupa, in his book, The Jewel Ornament of Liberation, the Buddharkin has said that there is no difference between seeing me and reading the book, the Buddharkin, or Jewel Ornament of Liberation, because even if we are able to see Gambupa himself, the only thing that he is able to do is give us teaching. And now when we have the book, we can read the text. And from that, what we are able to understand is that even if we are able to read the books by Rinpoche, it isn't any difference from seeing him, because even if we see Rinpoche, it is only because we want to receive teaching from him. But now all these teachings, not all, but in Tibetan, most of them are printed, but we still have lots of text to be translated and printed in Chinese, and I hope we will be able to do that because now we do have quite a few books from Rinpoche, but it is still not all the text that Rinpoche has composed. So I think it will be very helpful for all of us, very beneficial for all of us, if we are able to translate this text into Chinese. And because of that, we all know that nobody is going to live forever. There has to be a time, and even when there is no Rinpoche, if we have the text, which were teachings from Rinpoche, if we are able to read these texts, we will never be afar from Rinpoche himself.
咁正如江摩巴大師咧喺佢嘅《解脫莊嚴寶論》呢個著作裏邊都有講啦，其實將來嘅弟子咧，如果係睇到呢本書嘅時候咧，就同親見江摩巴大師接受教法係冇分別嘅。 咁點解咁講咧？就係因為就算你真係能夠親眼見到東巴大師喺佢座前，其實你都係同樣係接受緊呢個教法嘅啫。咁所以因此你睇到呢本書呢個教法，就等於你同親見到東巴大師冇分別啦。咁同樣啦。就係如果我哋今日能夠睇到創古仁波切嘅嗰啲教言嘅嗰啲書籍啦，咁其實亦都同我哋親自從創古仁波切跟前去接受教法係冇分別㗎。咁所以因為同樣啦，你去見創古仁波切嘅時候，你都係去目的係要接受呢個教法㗎。咁所以因此咧，創古仁波切好多嘅教法咧，其實亦都係藏文嘅書籍已經出咗啦。但係其中一啲有部分係翻譯咗做中文嘅，但係就其實好多咧都係微譯做中文嘅。咁所以 Choje Lama 希望咧，將來呢啲書籍咧都係能夠係翻譯做中文啦。咁令到所有好多人咧都係我哋在座或者我哋所有人咧都係能夠得到呢個利益㗎。咁所以因為咧。我哋冇人係可以永遠喺呢個世界度住世㗎，咁所以因為將來咧，如果仁波切嘅教法咧係能夠係去用書籍嘅方式係流通於世啦，咁呢個仁波切嘅教法可以一路都會存在呢個世間，同埋咧藉着我哋睇仁波切嘅書咧，仁波切同我哋嘅距離咧就係變得係可以話係即係幾乎係同仁波切係冇距離接受咁佢嘅教法一樣啦。好呀。She really touched by your talk in sharing the love and compassion of Thrangu Rinpoche, and also she also loves to read Thrangu Rinpoche's books. And her question is, can Lama share with us what is your the most valuable things you have learned from Thrangu Rinpoche's conduct and qualities? What's the most important or most valuable things?
The most important thing, I think, is having the compassion and trying to do everything with compassion. And it might seem not possible in the beginning, but when we have the compassion and when we have the devotion, no matter what we are trying to achieve, that is, I think, going to be achievable. And not only that, one time, because since these days, I've been giving quite a few talks, teachings in many different places. Sometimes it does get a little uneasy because we never know what kind of questions we are going to be asked. And sometimes there might be questions which I will not be able to answer. So I asked Rinpoche what I should do if that kind of situation arises. And then Rinpoche told me that if I don't know, then no, I have to say I don't know. There is nothing else we can do. And Rinpoche, I think that is a very important teaching for me, because it is not only during the teachings but also in our daily life. Sometimes we pretend that we know everything, but we all are being very normal human beings. There are so many things that we will not be able to understand, we will not be able to answer. And when we are able to say that, oh, I don't know, I think that is also a very important lesson for all of us, because we always want to show that I know everything, especially if it is in our field, whatever field you are studying, and if somebody asks you about that, when you say you don't know, it is quite embarrassing, but still, I think it is very important. And I think that is one of the most important lessons directly for me.
咁 Choje Lama 就話咧，其實對佢嚟講咧，覺得最重要就係睇到寧波車嗰個悲心啦。咁亦都係咧，寧波車就係會做任何事情咧，佢都係嘗試帶住個悲心去做嘅。咁所以佢有時會覺得咧，一開始有時啲事情啦，你可能睇到係好似冇乜可能係冇乜可能做得到嘅，或者好困難嘅。但係如果你帶住個虔敬心啦，但係同埋你一直去一直咁去嘗試去做咧，咁其實最後咧都係能夠成功㗎。咁好似佢自己分享翻就係話佢去過唔同嘅地方去講經啦，而家成日會咁有時佢都會覺得唔容易嘅，因為可能去到有啲地方啦，咁有人有啲問啲問題咧，可能佢會覺得可能有啲人問啲問題佢答唔到嘅，或者佢唔知點樣答嘅，咁佢就嘗試去，咁啊有機會咧就去問寧波車啦。咁問寧波車話：如果有啲人問我啲問題咧，我答唔到，我點算咧？咁寧波車就回答翻佢啦，就話：如果你唔知嘅話，咁你咪就係話唔知咯。就係咁啦，咁呢個對佢嚟講嘅好重要嘅一個教法或者一個學習嚟嘅，因為就係話日常生活裏邊咧，我哋好多時候亦都會扮自己係識晒所有嘢㗎。人哋問親你嘅嘢咧，可能你點都會俾個答案嘅，你一點都好似話會識嘅。咁但係對佢嚟講咧，我哋就係習慣咗我哋會知嘅。咁但係寧波車呢個答案咧，就係對佢嚟講好重要嘅教法，就係因為就係話咧，我哋喺我哋自己嘅界別裏邊咧，其實你可能會成日都會有人問你各種問題，之後如果你可能覺得人哋問到你嘅問題之後你唔識答咧，你會覺得好尷尬㗎。咁但係寧波車呢個答案咧，對佢嚟講咧就係一個好好嘅一個教法啦。Choje Lama, as we know, Rinpoche now is in his old age, and now the new generation teacher, just like Lama, you actually is about to share the responsibility. Then, so what do you think about the future development of the Thrangu monastery or this order, please?
I have been hearing a lot of people saying new generation teachings, new generation masters, but I think it's not appropriate from my own understanding, because for example, for coffee, so I think from my own understanding it might be wrong. So maybe the black coffee is like the sutras, and then adding milk is like the tantras. So this has always been there since the beginning. A long time back, we have sutras, we have the tantras, and I think for coffee that is deep. We can drink black or we can drink with milk, whether we drink cappuccino, latte, or whatever. But other than that, whenever we put something extra, I think these are all what we call modern Buddhist teachings. So these are all, I think, just like feed something like passion. Yeah? So it will come, but they are not going to last, and I don't think they are going to be of so much benefit also. Like we do see when we go for cafes, there are so many things coming up every year. This year it might be putting pumpkin in the coffee, next year it might be tomatoes or whatever. But as long as there is the coffee and the milk, we can always have a good coffee. We don't need to put anything else. So even the teachings these days, so many people want to listen, or when we say something, oh, this is very new kind of teaching, something very young Lama or a young teacher going to give teaching, something very different from the traditional ways. People do get excited, but we don't see any result from the students who participated in these kinds of teaching. But for the students who have been receiving teachings from the old masters like Thrangu Rinpoche or other great masters who have been practicing what they preach, I think that has more blessings, and that also has more result even in us. But once we start to having more faith in all these new kinds of teaching, new kinds of talks, then there is always going to be new things every year. Then we always need to be updated, just like our iPhones. Every year, if we keep updating, we will not be in any particular practice. So every year we will see one new teacher, we'll go to there. Next year there will be another younger, more dynamic teacher, we go to there. Again, after a few years, there is going to be another one who will say that, oh, I'm the most youngest generation teacher. If we keep doing like that, I don't think it's going to be so much helpful for us. So I think as long as teacher or the teaching is like from the ancient times, more pure, and I think it connects all of us more with these kind of teaching, because we have seen so many masters who have achieved so much from these teachings. But all this new, for modern education, it is very important to be updated. But for the Buddhist teaching, I think it's much better if we try to follow the general ancient teachings that is always there, given by the Buddha himself and the great masters from India, Tibet, China, and all these masters. I think carries more blessing for all of us.
咁成日都會有人講啦，一啲新一代嘅大師啊，或者係新潮啦，甚至可以講係嘅一個教法啦。咁但係Choje Lama自己覺得咧，就係咁樣形容咧，就係唔合適嘅，即係佢唔認同呢一個講法啦，甚至係咁佢嘅例子就係話啦，好似就係咖啡，即係我哋講齋啡啦，就係黑色嘅，即係齋啡啦。咁佢用齋啡嚟比喻呢一個顯成嘅教法啦。咁奶咧可以係一個密成嘅教法嚟比喻。咁其實呢啲呢兩樣嘢啦，即係顯密嘅教法啦，或者所以話奶同咖啡咧係一開始係有，或者係本身就係咖啡嘅嗰個材料嚟嘅。咁其實有呢兩樣嘢咧，其實夠噶啦。咁所以你可以就係飲齋啡，亦都可以飲cappuccino 啊或者 latte， 即係加奶噶啦。咁但係如果咧你再加咗其他嘢落去啦，即係譬如可能有啲人咖啡裏邊會加咗其他除咗奶之外其他嘢落去啦，咁就好似一啲現代嘅教法，所謂現代或者新派嘅一啲佛法嘅內容裏邊，可能就好似一啲其實佢加落嘅嘢就好似一啲我哋時裝潮流咁噶，可能你係嚟出現咗，但係其實佢就好快就會消失㗎啦。咁等於咖啡裏邊，你可能有時咧，你睇啲咖啡室啦，可能有時有啲新嘅嘗試啊，可能甚至會加南瓜落去，今年加南瓜，下年就加呢一個番茄落去。但係呢啲嘢亦都係一啲你可以話係其實本身咖啡冇嘅嘢嚟㗎，係唔需要加㗎，但係佢哋加落去當一啲新潮嘅嘢咯。咁所以咧，你可能會睇到啦，就係如果而家呢個時代咧，有啲可能新派嘅或者新潮嘅一啲教法嘅一啲佛教嘅老師啦，可能佢哋有啲係好年輕添嘅。咁但係咧，你可以睇一睇佢咁呢啲嘅教法，佢跟從呢啲教法嘅弟子咧，佢哋有冇啲咩改進？佢哋會唔會跟從呢啲修行之後有咩得到呢個結果咧？咁你可以睇一睇咁樣嘅情況。咁但係亦都可以另一方面睇下，好似跟從好似創古仁波切或者呢啲係跟翻傳統嘅一啲言行合一嘅一啲上師嘅修持嘅話，咁佢哋嘅弟子係有啲咩結果成果？咁你就會睇得到究竟兩者嘅分別啦。咁所以Lama 就會覺得啦，咁可能咧每年啦都係會有一啲新嘅一啲潮流出嚟，甚至喺講嘅佛法裏邊嘅內容，可能都有冇新嘅潮流翻嚟。但係如果你一路咁去追尋嘅時候，可能我今年就有呢個上師出現有新嘅，我下年有另一個仲新啲嘅，咁你一路追尋落去咧，其實咧你係一路都係無止境咁噶。但係如果Lama 自己個見解就係話啦，其實佢哋就會反而係睇翻，如果以前呢啲教法，其實過去從佛陀到後來嘅，譬如印度啊、西藏啊、尼泊爾嘅大師啦，或者係中國嘅大師，佢哋都係遵從嘅呢啲教法一路去修持得到成就嘅。咁對佢嚟講，我覺得佢呢啲咁嘅古代嘅呢一啲一路流傳落嚟嘅教法咧，係會係更加去清淨，同埋可以話係更加有呢個成效㗎。咁書對佢嚟講啦，即係佢會覺得佛法嚟講咧，都係要去遵從翻呢啲從佛陀釋迦牟尼一路流傳落嚟嘅呢個咁嘅傳承嘅教法，用翻個傳統嘅方法去學習去教授係重要，而就係應該係咁，應該係咁。而另外譬如話你話現代嘅教育咧，反而嗰啲就係可能係不停需要去改進，不停要去叫做係 去跟呢個時代去進步。
篇幅嗰啲字咧比較少，佢唔會用好多嚟形容啊咁樣，但佢係好到位嘅。咁又例如呢個自觀禪修講，咁佢係翻譯緊嗰個知識寶藏嗰度，咁但係佢又唔會引用咩經啊嗰啲，佢個注解嗰度又冇喎。咁我個問題就係，因為佢太過精簡，又冇晒啲注解，又唔知佢邊部經佢又唔加落去咧，嗰陣咧就發覺好似唔係好夠。咁我就自己咧就將喺讀嘅過程嗰陣咧，我又加啲注釋落去。呢個係引咩經咁又咁樣咧，好似做多咗好多嘢咁樣。我就想問，究竟波車嗰個教法咧，呢個加瑪加珠嗰個落學咧，係咪我做得多咗？係咪應該佢根本就係咁直？係咪根本就係咁就得？我係咪添加咗好多嘢到太過？喺個手，因為我見到嗰啲書全部都係好簡短，但係喺同一時間佢翻譯呢啲書，其他嘅佢會有話佢係解釋密經喺呢度引出嚟自己係有引經嘅，但係佢喺個注解嗰度又係咪因為亞洲嘅複雜？我想知道，即係我讀唔到嗰個脈絡，我驚我自己捉錯咗路咧，搞到自己亂晒。跟翻佢個原位，簡單。
Yeah, her question is when she reading Rinpoche's books in Chinese, there's some translation in Chinese just like there's one book is about the four contemplation to turn the mind onto the path. This is what, and also another book is about the Sine and Natong, the meditation. Then these two books, they all use a really simple and direct teaching, not many wordings. And also, just like the one about the meditation, is Rinpoche mentioned is actually the teaching is from the Jamgon Kongcho's the Treasury of Knowledge. It's from that part, but it didn't call which the Sanskrit, those things, didn't call the original verses. And also, it's also mentioned about from the Buddha's, one of the Buddha's sutra, but also, of course, it's not mentioned about the quotation, from in the quotation of footnotes, it didn't mention or quote back the original source of the teachings. So when she's reading this, then she was trying to find where is the actually, when Rinpoche mentioned about this, where is the original source. Then she wonder, is this she did too much when she did this study? I mean, her question is she have doubt that, will I do this like this? Is actually not Rinpoche's intention. Will she do this kind of deep study, find out the source is actually is too much or not correct? And also she mentioned, is this is like the style of the Gamma Gaju teaching, or is aimed for the because of the Asian student? Yeah, the question is like this.
When we are reading books or when we are learning Buddhism, I think we have like two different purposes. Sometimes we are learning Buddhism for our academic purposes. And if it is like that, then it is very wise, like what you said, looking where the sutra is from, looking for where the quotation is from, who said it, when they said it. But if you are looking for your own inner development, then these are not that important. So most of the times we don't give so much importance to dates, especially. Because if you have been following the teachings of the 17th Karmapa, then you will be able to know that we have so many different conflicts on the dates of almost everything. Because we don't consider this extremely important, because knowing the dates, knowing the text, where it is written, that doesn't bring so much of improvement in our way of knowing the Dharma. So what we are knowing to be a better person, knowing that, oh, this book was written in 1921, and knowing that it was written in 1945, whichever it is, it will not make any difference to us. But if you are doing it for academic purpose or for research purpose, then it is very important for you to know where these teachings are from, why, when they were given, and all this information is very important. So it depends on why we are studying this text. And most of us, I think, are not studying for academic purpose. It's so that we can improve our own self. So I think it is not that important. But if we are doing it for our PhD or to write a book, another book, so during like those times, then it is very important to know where these quotations are from, who said these words, in which text it was said, when it was said. So these are very important. So it depends on the person who is reading that book.
咁所以咧就係當我哋學習佛法嘅時候咧，即係有兩個進路或者係兩種你嘅目的啦。一個就係好似係學術嗰方面嘅。咁呢個如果你係用學術嗰方面去學習嘅話咧，確實係要引經據典，你就要知道嗰個教法咧喺邊度嚟嘅，喺邊度講嘅咁樣啦。咁但係如果你只係希望令自己嘅修行改進咧，改進自己嘅修行咧，或者係令自己嘅人啊去做個更好嘅人咧，咁其實反而呢一啲內容咧就唔係咁重要嘅。特別就係佢舉個例子就係一個日子啦、日期啦。咁最近噶瑪巴喺即係17世噶瑪巴講嗰啲開示嘅時候咧，其實佢入邊都講啲歷史嘅時候，好多時候有啲關於啲年代啊，其實都好多時候有唔同講法啊，有好多即係各説各話嘅呢啲唔肯定邊一年嘅。咁但係咧，其實我哋知道呢啲嘢咧就唔係話好有幫助對我哋個人修行，或者係自己係成為一個更好嘅人。因為就好簡單，就算嗰本書係真係1921年出或者1945年出嘅話，其實對你改善自己係唔會有咩影響㗎，即係唔會有乜關係。但係如果你係做一個學術嘅研究嘅，咁就好重要啦。即係你要搞清楚啲嘢邊度嚟啊、幾時啊、點樣出現啊咁樣啦，或者點樣有呢本書咁樣咯。咁書就係你要睇你自己係咪為咗要去做學術啦。咁如果你係唔係嘅，或者修行嘅，咁呢樣就唔係太重要啦。但係如果你係為咗要去做可能做個研究，攞博士學位啊，或者係等等咧，咁你就係要呢啲嘢就係重要啦。咁所以你要自己搞清楚自己係要用邊一種嘅方法，又或者係為咗乜嘢去去學習。
So, do you know what is the most happiest times or thing that makes him most happy in his life? And then, because he's so high level Lamas, so when he come across difficulties, actually, will he have any difficulties or anything he can solve all the problems? Or if he really has some, do you think he will keep those to himself, or he will ask, like, I want to know? And then, how is our Rinpoche's health status now? And then last question is, you talked about Rinpoche has 8 big monasteries. Okay, so this week is which 8?
OK， 咁首先佢就係呢位師兄就係問嘅問題就係佢見到仁波切成日笑啦，咁所以佢就係第一個問題就係問究竟係乜嘢會令到仁波切係最開心嘅咧？呢個第一個問題。第二個問題就係話你記唔記得你第二個問題？係當佢唔開心遇到困難嘅時候，咁仁波切係會自己收埋自己啊，定係佢係會點樣去處理？點樣去應對，或者佢從來都冇呢個困難咧？咁另外第三個問題就係仁波切而家即係身體狀況如何啦？第四個問題就係佢頭先提過，係第四個問題有8間寺院，喂咁佢又咁佢就係啦 ，OK， 就佢話有8間寺院係邊8間係啊 ，OK， 得 OK， 得 OK， 得啦，
Okay. What what makes him happy? Does he face difficulty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh. Oh.
Yeah. Which a monastery 係啦，8間寺院係邊8間係？
So the first one is I don't think it's only related with Rinpoche. Every Rinpoche, if they are like real Rinpoche from their heart, because these days we do see people with so many big titles, but maybe they are not good practitioners. And if it is like that, then it might be different. But if they are like great teachers from their heart, then it is not only Rinpoche, but every other Rinpoche. The happiest when they can be is when his students are practicing what is being taught by him or her. So if we are able to do that, that will make our teacher not only Rinpoche, so because here I'm pretty sure there are so many students of different teachers. So all of our teachers, whether it is Thrangu Rinpoche or any other Rinpoche, the only way we can make them happy is when we are able to practice as said in the sutras and the tantras or the instructions given by our Rinpoche. If we are able to do that, so I think and I'm 100% sure that makes them the most happiest. It's not like all the other things that we do, serving him or her, helping him or her, maybe physically, maybe momentarily, maybe by monetary support, and all this maybe will make them happy, but that is not the most thing that they are looking in their students. Only when we are able to practice, and if we improve in our practice, then that will make not only Rinpoche, all the other Rinpoches also extremely happy, and will make them the happiest. And of course, Rinpoche also does face difficulties, maybe not in his like practice, but there are so many other things related with him. There are health issues, even when he is starting a school, or when he is starting a monastery, or when he is starting a medical post. He does face lots of difficulties, and he does need to get help. We need to make the drawing of the monastery. For that, he needs to get support from the architecture. We need to buy the land. For that, he needs to have support from people who goes to the field to buy the land. And after finding the land, he needs to buy the land. For that, we need money to buy the land. That also he needs to have support. So these are all different kinds of difficulties, and these some of them we can help, and in our own small ways, but definitely this is not the happiest that makes Rinpoche. It's only when his students, it doesn't matter whether there are many students or small, but when their students practice will make them, not only Rinpoche, all the Rinpoches very happy. And Rinpoche is in very good health now. And for the monasteries, you can check rinpoche.com website.
咁首先啦，就係關於開心嗰個問題咧，就係其實唔淨止係創古仁波切啦，其實呢個係所有係具德嘅仁波切，真正係有修正嘅仁波切啦。咁喇嘛特別強調呢一點啦，就係因為其實好多有時有啲仁波切可能嗰個名號好大，但係可能佢唔係一個真係有修行嘅人嘅。咁但係而家係講緊嗰啲係真係有修正嘅大德。除咗創古仁波切之外啦，其實你點樣會令到佢哋開心咧？就係咧，你係會去好好去修持佢，你喺從佢度接受到嘅教法，好好咁去真正去實修從呢啲你嘅上師嘅呢一個得到嘅教法啦。咁樣咧就係真正係最好，或者係能夠令到上師最開心嘅一個嘅原因啦。咁就係咧，因為呢個唔係淨係創古仁波切，其實大家都可能喺唔同嘅仁波切度咧接受過唔同嘅教法㗎。咁但係所以重點就係話啦，無論你接受嗰啲係顯成教法、密成教法都好啊。如果你能係將從你上師嗰度接受嘅教法付諸實修咧，咁呢個就係能夠令你上師最歡喜嘅方法啦。但當然啦，可能就係話你會俾對上司可能承事佢啦，對佢係暫時嘅可能對佢一啲幫助啊，或者從金錢上對佢幫助啦，呢啲都會令上司歡喜嘅。但係呢個唔會令上司係有一個最究竟或者係最歡喜嘅一個原因咯。咁書好重要嘅就係話你要將上司教嘅教法 去付諸實修，咁呢個就會令你上師係最歡喜啦。咁另外啦，喺困難方面啦，咁寧波車個人修持咧就呢個未必有咩困難，但係佢可能身體一啲譬如話健康上啊，或者佢上去建造寺院建造學校或者係建造呢一個成立嗰啲醫療機構嘅時候，都會面對好多困難㗎。可能佢哋有好多，譬如當時又要揾人畫則啊，要揾建築師幫忙啊，揾地嘅時候揾人幫忙啊，有地又要揾錢揾人幫忙啦。咁但係咧呢啲咧，當時亦都係當然啦，你能夠幫助到寧波車呢啲行為咧，係寧波車會好開心，但係都係唔夠你係實修佢嘅教法係令上師會最歡喜㗎。咁除此之外嗱，健康方面啦，寧波車就係而家身體好好啦，同埋如果你想睇知道有幾多間寺院嗰啲咧，就可以上網站啦 rinpoche.com 嗰度睇啦。
No, May 8 is the monasteries in Nepal. So beside that, we have more monasteries. And I think even the domain name is also one of the activity of Rinpoche, because as we all know, there are so many Rinpoches, and we didn't have to buy that name. And because of Rinpoche's wisdom, we were able to get the domain name of www.rinpoche.com and all of that. So,
咁所以係啦，咁少講翻就係呢個網站咧，其實都係一個寧波車功德嘅展現，因為其實好難有呢個名嘅，但係當時就係有咁嘅因緣可以得到。
Teacher, as you know, we need to practice wisdom and compassion in our daily life. So may I know the meaning of wisdom and compassion?
咁我哋要喺我哋修行啦，甚至日常生活裏邊啦，我哋就係要修持呢個智慧同慈悲啦。咁呢位師兄嘅問題就係，咁可唔可以講解咩叫智慧同慈悲咧？
So compassion is like when we are doing anything not for ourselves but for other sentient beings. So even when we are practicing, even when we are doing anything, we can have compassion for others. So compassion is having the motivation to free someone from their suffering, or maybe bring happiness to somebody else. So that is compassion. And wisdom is when you have more compassion, when you study more, wisdom will just grow and grow. It is more like just like common sense, but in a way, in a dharmic way. So as we study more, I think the wisdom will also grow.
咁慈悲咧，主要係悲心咧，其實就係一個唔係個心一個諗法或者一個態度，就係你唔係為自己，你係做嘢係為一切人眾生嘅。咁其實你呢個唔係淨係你修法嘅時候要有啦，而係你其實日常生活裏邊，其實你都有一個發心，或者你做任何行為裏邊咧，你都有一個發心，就係希望咧係他人咧就唔好，所有人或者其他所有人咧都唔好再有受痛苦啦，同埋希望所有他人咧都係能夠有呢個快樂㗎。咁而呢個智慧係乜咧？就係當你有咗呢個悲心嘅時候咧，其實你個智慧慢慢就會開展㗎啦。咁當你悲心具備，智慧慢慢開展嘅時候咧，其實呢個智慧就好似你嘅一個我哋話你一個常理一樣嘅，咁樣係會自然會流露出嚟㗎啦。但係呢個就要靠慢慢培養啦。有問最後一個問題有冇？There's one conclusion question. There's Thrangu Dhammakara is an organization that's also established in according with Rinpoche's vision. Then the vision is to flourish the Buddha Dhamma. Then Choje Lama, do you have any expectation or advice to the Thrangu Dhammakara?
In Chinese?
咁創古文化呢一個機構咧，其實就係都係按照寧波車嘅嗰個願景咧係去成立嘅。咁所以亦都呢度因為個目的就係想去要運傳呢個佛法啦。咁所以亦都而家我哋想希望睇下Choje Lama佢對呢創古文化係有任何嘅有冇咩期望或者係呢個建言咧？
Yeah. So the advices I'm pretty sure Rinpoche has already given to the main members of Dhammakara. So I don't think I have to add any extra, but I think it is very important to have books published, especially not only in Tibetan, because these days we have so many students who can read Chinese or English. So any kind of books that is in Tibetan, and if we are able to translate them and publish them, then I think that is going to be of huge benefit to all the students of Buddhism in general, not only like students of Thrangu Center, but also for all the other students from different centers, whoever wants to practice Buddhism. So I think that is very important. And without the help of especially the translators, it is almost impossible for most of the students to practice Buddhism. So even the translators, they play an immense role in publication. So like you or any other translators, I think it is very important to translate these teachings of Rinpoche, and no matter how long it will take, but we do need to have the motivation and belief that we are going to translate every teachings of Rinpoche into Chinese or maybe English or whatever. And this is going to be of great help. Like I said, a book is like one of the best friends that we can have. Whenever we can want to study, we can always study. And books are not even like studying on iPad or iPhones, because sometimes we run out of battery, sometimes it is too small, sometimes, and we need to charge them. But books, we can just, whenever we have the mood, we can just grab it and study it. So it is very important to have these books.
咁所以咧，如果係關於呢個建言方面，即係或者建議方面咧，其實應該創古仁波切當時就已經係當面就講咗，即係直接係向創古文化嘅負責人咧去有講到㗎啦。咁所以因此拉瑪佢就冇咩去補充。但係譬如話一啲其他嘅建議咧，咁佢就會就係覺得首先最重要嘅就係要去出版呢個書籍啦。就係因為咧，其實咧而家好多弟子啦，就係去會揾佛教書籍睇啦。其實佢哋都係睇中文同埋英文㗎。咁所以咧，因為創古仁波切好多書係藏文啦。咁但係話，如果有辦法可以將呢啲書咧係令出版為中文英文咧，其實對呢一啲能夠睇中英文嘅弟子咧有好大嘅利益㗎。咁亦都係唔係淨係對創古中心嘅一啲弟子啦，其實所有一般大眾對佛法有興趣或者係其他中心想學佛嘅人咧，其實對佢哋都有好大嘅利益㗎。咁但係咧，亦都係要靠有譯者去做啦，因為就係如果冇譯者去將呢啲書翻譯出嚟咧，咁啲弟子亦都冇辦法去跟住呢啲教法去修持㗎。咁所以好重要嘅就係一啲譯者咧，佢哋就係要去好好咁樣去將創古仁波切嘅嗰啲教法啦，係有系統咁樣，或者係要發願就係要將仁波切嘅教法，無論要花幾多時間都好啊，要將佢所有每一個教法，最後都係要翻譯咗出嚟嘅，就係要有呢個咁嘅願心去好好咁去將仁波切嘅教法咧翻譯成中文英文。如果能夠咁做咧，就係非常之有大利益㗎。因為就係話啦，書之前都有講啦，係最好嘅朋友、最好嘅老師啦。因為咧書亦都唔似好似電話 iPad 啊，即係平板咁啦。如果你冇電啊，或者係太細啊，睇唔到啦。書咧你幾時想睇可以睇到啦。咁所以咧你隨時都可以攞起手嚟睇嘅。咁所以因此咧將呢個出版書籍係一個最重要嘅一個任務。
创文化的发起人，这个导要怎么去？
有咪喎。
We are so lucky to Choje Lama Wangchuk in his time in Hong Kong, and we have done many very special events, puja and teaching. It's very wonderful time. This time we did it, and I'm president of Thrangu and Thrangu Center. Really to thank you very much to for this time in our Thrangu Dharmakara in here is very new. It's only maybe 2 or 3 months ago. At that time, I'm very pandemic time, and somebody said, "Oh, other people, some bookshop is closed. You are going to open. How do you can manage? How do you can make?" But I have Rinpoche's blessing because I don't want to Rinpoche's wish. Is the how to say? Yes, that's why. Actually, in myself, I'm not good English, but it's Rinpoche's blessing, and we have Thrangu Dharmakara, we have Kyubutenje and Anila, and also other Thrangu Dharmakara's friends, and also staff. They are very hard work, and they are very, how to say, good Rinpoche's, do the Rinpoche's activities. That's why I'm very happy, and also I'm also very happy to do this opportunity. Okay, that's why this time, because Choje Lama is the representative of Rinpoche, and also why we today it's doing how to say this teaching in here, because I want to have the Rinpoche's blessing and also Lama's blessing here, and that's why today we do here. How to say? Yes. Okay. 所以我哋啱啱Choje Lama講咗話，我哋最好咧同書做朋友，係頭先Choje Lama講嗰陣時，全部都係所以咧 ，OK， 最後Choje Lama頭先講咗話 ，OK， 其實我哋上堂或者係講經，邊個嚟或者邊個都好，哦呢個答得好，呢個講得好，呢個講得唔好，哦呢個好，嗰個好，個個都係咁樣嘅地方出現咁樣嘅發生，係，但係Lama講咗話 ，OK， 頭先 OK， 書係最好嘅老師。佢唔，總之佢唔可以我唔答你，佢唔可以OK 唔答你嗰陣時，你都唔使生氣，你都唔使唔開心，係咪？所以頭先Choje Lama講咗，你有時間睇書，冇時間唔緊要 ，OK 食飯時間 OK 唔使睇，所以你有時間去睇係咪？所以咧，我哋將來我哋係呢個Thrangu Dharmakara，因為 OK 我少少，因為Rinpoche有一個自己嘅生源，因為Rinpoche曾經之前，因為點解我係堅持Thrangu Dharmakara堅持去落去做，因為本身你哋知一個 publication 一個係書寫係唔簡單，真係唔簡單。或者係你好嘅，或者係你又真係有讀書嘅，有咩嘅，真係好忙。但係我點解係咁樣落去咧？我唔想 仁波切嘅心願點講咧？唔想仁波切嘅心願係消失，係咪？仁波切曾經講過咩咧 ？OK， 我有好多嘅外國嘅弟子，我冇能力錢幫到佢，我冇能力係總之係有啲咩嘅實物，有啲咩嘢幫到所有嘅弟子，但係仁波切有2000，總之係佢嘅一個佢嘅老師同埋16世教16世法王嘅加持嘅大廈，佢有一個佛法，所以呢個佛法係幫到所有嘅弟子，所有嘅 student， 所以仁波切叫我係呢個成立喺呢個香港係呢個書社同埋技術，所以咧係有目的嘅，我哋同埋安妮以前係印度，曾經仁波切叫佢幫我哋喺呢個書社，所以係呢個係我仁波切嘅加持同埋我嘅幸福，所以咧我哋將來如果你哋真係我哋將來想去 OK 仁波切，我哋有仁波切咁多嘅書，我哋想有將來我哋咧想有讀書班、讀書會，或者係我哋有啲法學班，係咪？所以好多師兄都係提議過，我哋之前上過好多仁波切嘅堂，但係而家好多都係唔記得晒，可唔可以又重新係啦，有次第咁樣？所以我哋因為有呢個地方，我哋可以有機會係可以將來，同埋我哋有Thrangu文化，都有將來希望我哋有呢個翻譯組，係咪？翻譯組，其實喺台灣，我哋已經有好似7個、6個，全部台灣又已經係6個翻譯組，因為全部同佢哋帶得好好，所以我希望其實我哋喺香港都有香港都有呢個翻譯組，因為頭先Choje Lama已經講過話，同柬埔寨嘅個故事係咪？柬埔寨同仁波切嘅故事係咪？所以我哋翻譯係真係必須要，所以我哋如果將來想讀翻譯嘅，都係我哋有機會嘅，同埋而家我哋嘅翻譯，而家佢哋做大部分嘅翻譯係咪？
搞笑，喂，梗係搞笑，完全搞笑，完全唔得㗎真係。哦，唔得㗎，係唔得㗎。
所以我哋係將來咁樣都有我哋機會，所以都係其實我哋出一個書，你我哋個個都話 OK， 個個都想咩，但係我哋都係出一個書，都係靠功德書，真係我哋出書係真係唔簡單，所以我哋都係希望將來多多少少支持。 所以多謝感恩我哋咁多嘅市民支持我哋謝謝喇嘛。上個堂係咪？所以我哋都係由今日開始，我哋將來有多多有讀書，多多有法好玩，好唔好？所以你哋會
其實可唔可以即係辦咗個線上嗰啲讀書會或者啲景點翻先？因為好多時咧，好似頭先我嗰個問題，我睇完嗰陣可能教好耐，唔記得咗定升格教法，可能我捉錯咗啲面先，咁可以辦，即係可以喺線上嘅人，可以少啲人啦，咁咧誒可以少啲義工或者點樣就可以。係啊，咁
會，因為我哋都係上次我哋想呢個真係咩嘅，但係呢個疫情嘅問題咧，我哋都係只係延期咁樣咯，所以我哋將來有咩㗎啦，所以
哎，即刻樣，用即刻。So I will again say small little things. So sometimes I feel very surprised by seeing the devotion that our senior Lama has for Rinpoche, like Khenpo Lama Sonam, and not only two of them, but also all the different lamas that we have in our monastery. And you do see them like respecting me when I come here. But actually, if we know for real, then someone like me, I became a monk only when Khenpo graduated from his Buddhist college. So only after he had graduated, I became a monk, only then. And like Lama Sonam, he was a monk in our monastery before I was even born. So like two of them are just an example, and all of them, like even though they are more learned, they have more wisdom, they have more education, but still they show respect to me only because of the devotion that they have to Rinpoche, because Rinpoche appointed me as his representative, and because of that, because of the trust, because of the devotion that they have to Rinpoche, and it becomes very easy for them to respect me, because it is not because I have all these qualities, it is only because of the respect they have for Rinpoche, and because of that it is easier for them, because they know that it is not something which happened by some other force, but it is only because Rinpoche appointed me, and because it was Rinpoche's wish, so it comes very easily to them. And you have to know that it is not because of my practice or education or wisdom or anything. And not only that, because they have so much devotion to Rinpoche, and when Rinpoche said that books are very important and it is a must, so even though we all know that almost nobody reads books these days, everybody is on their phones and iPads and laptops and all this stuff, but only because Rinpoche said that books are very important, we need to have all these books translated, we need to have them in hard copies. So only because Rinpoche said, they took the plunge and decided to have this publication. And these are all because of their faith and devotion to Rinpoche. And sometimes even myself feel a little ashamed, because I even don't have like that much of respect or devotion to Rinpoche as all the older monks they show to Rinpoche. So you all have a very great Lama Khenpo here in center. So they are here all the time, and you should request him to give you teachings, and not only expect me or other lamas coming from Nepal, India, Bhutan, wherever. But when you have someone in your own community, you should take advantage of that.
咁Choje Lama 就仲有想同大家分享啦，有時佢會見到咧創古仁波切一啲比較資深嘅嗰啲僧眾啦，或者喇嘛啦，佢哋嘅嗰個虔敬心啦，就係其實佢好驚訝嘅，令佢覺得係好讚歎嘅，就好似阿 Kemo Dawa 或者喇嘛蘇南咁啦。咁其實咧，佢哋咧其實係即係喺寺院裏邊好資，同埋其實寺院入邊有其他都係一啲比較資深嘅喇嘛，佢哋對創古仁波切嗰個虔敬心咧係令人好讚歎嘅。咁樣咧，因為咧其實亦都係點解會咁講咧？因為其實譬如好 Kemo Dawa 或者馬蘇南佢對 Choje Lama 嗰個尊重咧，其實就係因為 Choje Lama 佢係被仁波切所委派代表仁波切嘅身語而嚟到呢度，所以佢對佢嗰個尊重係好尊重 Choje Lama 嘅。咁但係睇翻就係譬如好似 Kemo Dawa， 其實當年佢佛學院畢業嘅時候咧，阿喇嘛先至啱啱入去開始讀書啦。另外甚至阿喇嘛蘇南嗰陣時可能係出家嘅時候咧，阿 Choje Lama都未出世嘅。但係咧佢哋咧同埋所有佢哋呢啲咁嘅我哋叫資深嘅喇嘛啦，其實佢哋本身嘅學養啊、智慧啊，所以修為啊都係好高㗎。咁但係咧佢都係對，就係因為佢哋對創古仁波切嘅虔敬心嘅緣故咧，所以咧佢對仁波切嗰個信任同個虔敬，所以令到佢哋咧亦都係會對 Choje Lama 好尊敬㗎。咁所以因此咧，佢哋呢一個對 Choje Lama 個尊敬，其實係源於佢哋對仁波切嘅信任咯。咁亦都係因為點解咧？因為係仁波切親自去係安排 Choje Lama 作為係仁波切嘅代表啦。咁亦都唔係其他嘅緣故。咁所以因此佢哋對係因為仁波切嘅呢一個願望嘅緣故，咁所以因此咧，佢哋對 Choje Lama 係即係完全去尊敬㗎。但係呢個係因為咁嘅原因，而唔係因為 Choje Lama 自己有咩智慧啊、佢嘅學養啊或者修為原因啊。咁所以從呢一點你可以睇到咧，佢哋對仁波切嗰個虔敬心係非常之強㗎。咁所以咧，佢哋就係話所以咧就係話我哋而家呢度我之前都有講過啦，仁波切最中意、最重要覺得就係書係最緊要㗎啦。咁所以咧，我哋而家呢一度咧，而家呢一刻想做嘅書。喇嘛點解會成立呢個創古文化咧？就係因為仁波切覺得要將呢啲佢嘅教法翻譯做其他文字好重要，同埋印出版書好重要。因為仁波切有呢個願望，所以佢哋真係二話不說啦，就係要去做噶啦，就係要去出版呢個實體書。呢亦都表現出佢哋對仁波切嗰個信心同埋虔敬心。咁所以當 Choje Lama頭先都講啦，見到嗰啲咁呢啲資深嘅喇嘛嘅呢個虔敬心咁強嘅時候咧，佢自己都會覺得即係羞愧，因為佢自己都覺得自己係冇咁嘅虔敬心，即係冇辦法相比同佢哋。咁所以因此佢都建議大家啦，即係其實你哋大家香港中心有 Kemo Dawa、喇嘛蘇南呢啲咁好嘅上師啦，咁好嘅堪布啦，咁你哋應該要好好向佢哋請益，請佢哋多啲去講經啦。咁亦都唔使話之後下下都要請一啲師傅從不丹遠地而來嘅，你哋香港其實都要把握呢個機會，好好跟佢哋學習啦。
我在講廣東話，我唔知廣東話，現在換成國語頻道。好，接下來呢，我就是代表創文化，要感謝Choje Lama，然後還要進入一下廣告的狀況。然後呢，就剛剛有 Kemo Dawa講到，就說創文化接下來要辦讀書會的部分嘛，對不對？所以呢，接下來創文化在5月、6月，甚至是7月是書展，大家都知道。香港的書展大家記得嗎？記得。書展的時候呢，我們是有邀請Thrangu Rinpoche來分享書展會，所以大家到時候要看那個創文化的臉書，然後我們會邀請Thrangu Rinpoche，然後呢5月、6月Kemo Dawa也會在這邊上課，所以大家關注創文化的臉書跟微信公眾平台，好嗎？好。大家這樣謝謝。聽不懂中文，我也不會講那個英文，所以我還是請你翻譯一下。所以我們非常感謝那個Choje Lama，然後希望在下一次很快能見到你，然後請你莅臨我們的創古文化，再次分享一下這個翻譯書或者是任何你的那個標題都可以。謝謝。
Anila would like to thank Choje Lama this time for giving the talk here, and we really feel grateful for your this time the visit to Hong Kong, and also the most important is really hope next time when you come to Hong Kong you will come again and share with us again about reading or whatever topics you would like to share. Thank you very much.
再下来感谢我们未来的翻译。
因為大家都要努力係。
刚刚有讲到，就是因为 Q 的业现在已经培训出了6个翻译，未来的广东翻译我们会也在培训。
就要努力。
然后就是大家都知道要办一个课程不容易嘛，对不对？然后大家现在坐得很舒服，对不对？然后我们今天早上8点开始布置这个会场，所以我们有很多的义工，大家也看到今天的现场直播，这2位义工菩萨，所以现在有请我们的司机老马感谢一下我们的义工菩萨们，好吗？要不这个？
Just get down the key.
来，义工们。
Nancy.
Nancy 先。
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
谢谢大家。
뭐 소남 대벌도? 소남 대벌.
然后也谢谢大家，因为在座的，然后在座的各位也有一直以来支持创古文化的一些施主，也谢谢大家。
那我们最后是回向好吗？好。
아, 맞, 야, 가운 버리게. 아, 맞대, 국회 샤, 국회는 가도 그러. It's okay. 어디에 뭐? 야, this okay.